Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Chanda Ballava Girivaranari Yashoda Nandana Pujana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Pujana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballava Girivaranari Yashoda Nandana Pujana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Pujana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, we are reading today from the Srimad-bhagavatam Canto 8, Chapter 1, text number 16. 16. tam iham anang nirahan kritam buddham. Tam 16.
8:20:16.
8:1:16.
Oh, 8:1.
Yes. So we know first chapter of the 8th canto. Sam ihamanang nirahang kritang buddhang nirashishan purangananya choditam
Hirashishan Puramananya Koritam.
rinchikshayantam nijavartma sangstitam
Shikshayanam Nijavatam Samshitam.
prabhung prapadye kila dharma bhavanam
Prabhupada Kila Dharma
tam ihamanang nirahang kritang buddham nirashishan puran ananyachoditam rinchikshayantam nijavartma sangstitam prabhung prapadye kila dharma bhavanam tam ihamanang nirahang kritang buddham nirashishan purnam ananyachoditam rinchikshayantam nijavartma sangstitam prabhung prapadye kila dharma bhavanam nirashishan purnam ananyachoditam rinchikshayantam nijavartma sangstitam prabhung prapadye kila dharma bhavanam tam ihamanang nirahang kritang buddham nirashishan purnam ananyachoditam rinchikshayantam nijavartma sangstitam prabhung prapadye kila dharma bhavanam tam ihamanang nirahang kritang buddham nirashishan purnam ananyachoditam rinchikshayantam nijavartma sangstitam prabhung prapadye kila dharma bhavanam. Shiva? Maybe tomorrow. Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't see you come in. Ananda Loka. You see? Okay. Okay, so we'll go on. Tam, unto the same Supreme Personality of Godhead, Ihamanam, who is acting for our benefit, Nirahankritam, who is without entanglement or desire for gain, Buddham, who is completely in knowledge, Nirashisham, without desire to enjoy the fruits of his activities, Purnam, who is full and therefore has no need to fulfill desires, Ananya, by others, Choditam, induced or inspired, Nrinin, all of human society, Shikshayantam, to teach the real path of life, Nijavartma, his own personal way of life, Sangstitam, to establish without deviation, Prabhum, unto the Supreme Lord, Prapajay, I request everyone to surrender. Akila Dharma Bhavanam, who is the master of all religious principles, or the occupational duties for a human being. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, works just like an ordinary human being, yet he does not desire to enjoy the fruits of work. He is full in knowledge, free from material desires and diversions, and completely independent. As the supreme teacher of human society, he teaches his own way of activities, and thus he inaugurates the real path of religion. I request everyone to follow him. Repeat after me. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, works just like an ordinary human being. Yet he does not desire to enjoy the fruits of work. He is full in knowledge, free from material desires and diversions, and completely independent. As the supreme teacher of human society, he teaches his own way of activities, and thus he inaugurates the real path of religion. I request everyone to follow him. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. This is the sum and substance of our Krishna consciousness movement. We are simply requesting human society to follow in the footsteps of the teacher of Bhagavad Gita. Follow the instructions of Bhagavad Gita as it is, and your life will be successful. That is the summary of the Krishna consciousness movement. The organizer of the Krishna consciousness movement is teaching everyone how to follow Lord Ramachandra, how to follow Lord Krishna, and how to follow Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this material world, we need a leader. We need a leader for a monarchy or good government. Lord Sri Ramachandra, by his practical example, showed how to live for the benefit of all human society. He fought with demons like Ravana, He carried out the orders of his father, and he remained the faithful husband of Mother Sita. Thus, there is no comparison to Lord Ramachandra's acting as an ideal king. Indeed, people still hanker for Ram Raj, a government conducted like that of Lord Ramachandra. Similarly, although Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he taught his disciple and devotee Arjuna how to lead a life ending in going back home, back to Godhead. Chaktva dehan punar janma naitimam iti sojana. All teachings, political, economic, social, religious, cultural, and philosophical, are to be found in the Bhagavad Gita. One only has to follow them strictly. The Supreme Personality of Godhead also comes as Lord Chaitanya, just to play the part of a pure devotee. Thus the Lord teaches us in different ways just to make our lives successful. And Swayambhuva Manu requests us to follow him, follow Krishna. Swayambhuva Manu is the leader of mankind, and he has given a book called the Manu Samhita to guide human society. Herein, he directs us to follow the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his different incarnations. These incarnations are described in the Vedic literature, and Jayadev Goswami has described 10 important incarnations in summary. Keshavadrita Meena Sharira Jaya Jagadisha Hari. Keshavadrita Nara Hari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hari. Keshavadrita Buddha Sharira Jaya Jagadisha Hari, etc. Swayambhuva Manu instructs us to follow the instructions of God's incarnations, especially Krishna's instructions, the Bhagavad Gita, as it is. Appreciating, Sri Prabhupada says, Bhagavad Gita as it is. That is Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita as it is. Appreciating Bhakti Marg as described by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya thus depicted the activities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga Shikshartam Eka. Lights. Eka Purashta Purana Shri Krishna Chaitanya Sharira Dari Kripa Buddhir Yastam Aham Papaje. Quote, let me take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who has descended in the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to teach us real knowledge. His devotional service and detachment, his devotional service and teach it. Let me start that again. Let me take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who has descended in the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to teach us real knowledge, his devotional service, and detachment from whatever does not foster Krishna consciousness. He is descended because he is an ocean of transcendental mercy. Let me surrender unto his lotus feet. End quote. It's from the Chaitanya Chandrodaya Natika. In this age of Kali, people cannot follow the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore, the Lord himself takes the part of Sri Krishna Chaitanya to teach personally how to become Krishna conscious. He asks everyone to follow him and become a guru to deliver the fallen souls of Kali Yuga. Jarideka Tarakaha Krishna Upadesh Amara Ajaya Guru Pana Tara A Desh. Instruct everyone to follow the orders of Lord Sri Krishna as they are given in the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad-bhagavatam. In this way, become a spiritual master and try to liberate everyone in this land. End quote. That's from the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 7, verse 128. The coherent purpose of Lord Ramachandra, Lord Krishna, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is to teach human society how to be happy by following the instructions of the Supreme Lord. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gnana Shalakaya Chakshurun Viditam Yena Tasmat Shri Gurave Namaha. Okay, translation once again. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna works just like an ordinary human being. Yet he does not desire to enjoy the fruits of work. He is full in knowledge, free from material desires and diversions, and completely independent. As the supreme teacher of human society, he teaches his own way of activities, and thus he inaugurates the real path of religion. I request everyone to follow him. So, oh my God, Timirandasya Gnana Shalakaya Chakshurun Viditam Yena Tasmat Shri Gurave Namaha. So he teaches the path, his own path, and then and thus he inaugurates the real path of religion. So Lord Chaitanya, we're talking about now, Lord Chaitanya, he, like the other Yuga avatars, he did teach his own path, and he did teach the purpose for that teaching was to teach the method for this age for becoming Krishna conscious. That's what this is about. So, in all these incarnations, the Lord's incarnations that are mentioned here, Lord Krishna, who is the source of all the incarnations, Lord Ramachandra, and Lord Chaitanya are mentioned here specifically, they've all come to teach us personally. Lord Chaitanya came specifically. Lord Chaitanya was his role was a little unique compared to the others, and that he came, even though he's the supreme personality of Godhead, he came in the form, in the mood of a devotee, to show by example how, as a devotee, one surrenders to Krishna. That was his special contribution. All the other incarnations are well known to be incarnations, and they taught what they taught, but they didn't come as a devotee or in the mood of a devotee to teach by their own personal example, showing us by personal example. And as Srila Prabhupada explains that the teachings of Lord Chaitanya heard from Lord Chaitanya are the most perfect. Srila Prabhupada gives the example. The teaching is the most perfect. Why? Because he is the source of that knowledge, and he is personally teaching by his personal example how to become Krishna conscious. Right? So Srila Prabhupada gives the example. He says, just like if a master engineer is teaching some assistant how to do some engineering work, then that that teaching of the master engineer to his assistant, that is the best teaching. It's the perfect teaching, because he's already expert in it, and so the student or the assistant is learning the best method from the master. So here, the source of religion is Krishna, or Lord Chaitanya in this case, and so if Lord Chaitanya, if he came, as he did come, as a devotee, or in the mood of a devotee, to show by perfect example how to practice Krishna consciousness, that is the best teaching. There are lots of during the time of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, there were, and there still are, I'm sure, but he fought them then. There were many different sampradayas, many different upasampradayas, they're called. It means deviant sampradayas. We are sampradaya, coming from Krishna and down the whole line, who handed down perfect knowledge. But after Lord Chaitanya, there were so many, Srila Prabhupada said there were 13 upasampradayas who came, that were started, and they all claimed to be followers of Lord Chaitanya, but they had their own spin on it, which means they were not teaching or not practicing or teaching what Lord Chaitanya actually taught. One of them was known as the Gauranga Nagaris. Gauranga Nagari means they accept Krishna, or they accept Lord Chaitanya in a sense. I mean, they believe in him. And they also accept that he is not different from Krishna. But they take it that Lord Chaitanya is in the mood of Krishna, and he's not. Lord Chaitanya comes in the mood of a devotee, pure devotee of Krishna. They see Lord Chaitanya and speculate that he is still in that same mood of Krishna. Krishna, the enjoyer of the gopis, and like that. The transcendental playboy, sort of transcendental, like that. They see him like that, and they see themselves like gopis, and then they have this loving, well, actually their mood is actually lusting relationship with the Lord, who they're seeing as seeing in the mood of Krishna. But that mood that is wrong. It's a deviation, because Lord Chaitanya never ever, first of all, he didn't claim to be God, even though he was, but he never claimed that he. In fact, he denied it. Although some, his certain intimate devotees knew better. They understood who he was, and they understood from Scripture that he was actually predicted. So, but they did not. But he did not like to be called God. He hated it, in fact, when somebody actually referred to him as God, even though he for a couple of intimate devotees, he did show his forms. The Sadbhuj form, he showed it, and sometimes he showed himself as he's actually Radha and Krishna combined. And he showed like that for Ramananda Rai, and so I think it was fine. That was read. We go a little farther on Chaitanya Charitamrita. I believe he showed the Sadbhuj form to the six-arm form to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Anyway, sometimes he did, but in general, and for the people in general, he kept his disguise and played his role like a devotee. because that was what his mission was, to show by personal example how to become Krishna conscious. So Swayambhuva Manu here Shukla says he's a leader of mankind, and so he's given in his book Manu Samhita. So these are the original laws. Manu Samhita. Manu has written or just created this book called the Manu Samhita, and they're laws for the human society. And we don't. I don't know much about the actual laws. There's probably a lot of them we can't really follow now in Kali Yuga. But he gave these guidelines for how, and they all had to do with how to live a religious life in Krishna consciousness. Swayambhuva Manu was and as he's actually saying here, this is actually him speaking. That we should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He says the Supreme Lord appeared to act as like an ordinary human being, but he explains that the Supreme Lord appeared to act. He came and he lived in human society. He acted in so many ways like an ordinary human being, or maybe an extraordinary human being. But he's not a human being. Because he says he's not, because the Lord appears almost like a human being, but he's not affected by the fruits of work. He's not affected by. It's not like he does anything that they get some bad karma and has to suffer for it. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he's trying to teach by his example how we should live. And yet, and then we say we understand, the Vedas say, that if one can understand the real position of Krishna, then simply by that understanding, simply by that faith, Shishi Gauranitai, Shishi Radha, Vricha Bihari, Jagannath, Balaram, Lady Subhadra, Shukade, Prahlad Maharaj, Ki Jai. Simply by that faith and by that understanding, then we can become qualified to go back to the spiritual world. It means if we understand who Krishna is, we understand he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that we are simply his servants. If we do understand that, then what do? If you really understand that, then you surrender to Krishna. So one who understands the Lord's appearance and his activities, then we become qualified to go back to the spiritual world. And understanding that appearance, it means Lord Krishna, part of that understanding is that just like we are here in the material world, but we're here because of ignorance and forgetting about Krishna and misusing our free will. We're forced to come here because of our material desires. But Lord Krishna, his position is different. He's God. He's in control of everything. And he comes to the material world, but he's not in any way affected by it. He's not contaminated by it. He's not, you read in Bhagavad Gita the modes of material nature, the goodness, passion, and ignorance, and how One could be, depending on the the material modes that they're under, they are forced to act or influenced to act in different ways. But Lord Krishna, he's here, but he's not in any way affected like that. So from our side, this is part of what we were mentioning yesterday. That word, remember the word? What you weren't here. That word. What's the word we call it? The knowledge. The first stage of knowledge. Sambandha, yes. Sambandha. So there's Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. So the beginning is Sambandha. Without that Sambandha means relationship. And it refers to the relationship that we have with Krishna. I mean, Krishna is God. We're jiva souls. We're tiny particles. So we have that relationship with Him. He's God. We're very small. He's the master. We are the servants. He is the maintainer, and we are the maintained. Like that. The material energy is His energy, and the purpose, the real purpose for this whole material arrangement, now here with all the other planets and the creations and destructions and everything that goes on of all the universes, the whole purpose of all that, and going through all the species of life, purpose of all that is just so that we will become frustrated trying to enjoy separately from Krishna, and then when we say, okay, I'm frustrated, now what? What can I do about it? And then in that same material world, that then the Lord Krishna he's already sent, in the beginning, he sent the Vedas. We have so much Vedas, and he sent Guru, and he sent everything we need to become Krishna conscious when we are ready to do it. Like that example we hear so many times, the two birds in the tree, right? The two birds in the tree. There's one bird is just sitting there and he's watching the other bird trying to enjoying the fruits of the tree. So that bird that's enjoying, or trying to enjoy, is us, the spirit souls, the jiva souls, and the bird that is watching, of course, is Krishna, or the super soul. He's watching the other bird, and when the enjoying bird it becomes frustrated with trying to enjoy the fruits, and just thinks, okay, tried, and it's got to be something better than this. When he gets frustrated, then the watching bird, Krishna, puts him in contact with Guru. May not be the initiating Guru, it may be an instructing Guru, maybe there are many kinds of Gurus. And Lord Chaitanya says that he says wherever you go, whoever you meet, tell them about Krishna. So that's a form, that's one kind of Guru. If we meet somebody on the street and we tell them about Krishna, something, then we're functioning as what kind of Guru? Disciple, of course. Vartma Pradarshika Guru means one who shows the path of Krishna consciousness. Okay, so anyone can show the path of Krishna consciousness. Even in the story of Dhruva Maharaj, he was without going into the whole story, but he was very, very frustrated because his father, the king, King Uttanapata, had his one son, Dhruva's brother, on his lap, and Dhruva wanted to climb up on the lap too. He was about 5 years old, and his mother, not his mother, the stepmother, because the king had more than one wife. So she ordered, no, Dhruva, you cannot sit on the lap of your father. And the father was kind of henpecked, so to speak, and he okay, Dhruva, you gotta just wait. But Dhruva couldn't take it. Anyway, there's a whole long story about that, which we can't go into right at the moment. But Dhruva, he went to his mother, and he was thinking, complaining, and she says, I cannot do anything. Your father favors this other one, the other wife. So I cannot change him. But she says, only God can help you. I cannot do anything. So Dhruva is saying, then where can I find God? I want him to help me. And she's saying, well, I don't know, but great saintly persons go off to the forest and they look for God. Which in that age, this is probably Satya Yuga. They're going off and sitting and meditating like that. So he was thinking, my father did this to me. He was like angry. He was real angry, and how his stepmother was treating him. So he went off to the forest. He just walked away. He was left home one night on his own, a little kid, like this age. So he walked off on his own in the middle of the night. Nobody knew where he went, and he walked into the forest, and I'm looking for God. He's looking around. He didn't know how to. His mother didn't explain how do you find God. She said they go to the forest to look for God. So he was an innocent kid, and he walked off into the forest looking for God. And Narada Muni, the great saint, transcendental spaceman Narada Muni, he appeared there on the scene just at the right time. And he sees Dhruva there, and he tells him, he says, hey, Dhruva, you're just a kid. What are you doing out here? I'm looking for God. Oh, this is very difficult. People, why don't you should just, you're too young to do this. You must just go home and come back when you're old. And that's when people go off to the forest usually, when they get old. And he said, and Dhruva tells them, no, you go home. You can help me, or you go home. You leave. So it's a little bold. But anyway, he did like that. And so, but that was a test. Narada Muni already knew who he was. He could see past, present, and future. So he knew who Dhruva was. That's why he was there. So he gave him gave him a mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Just chant this again and again and again and again. And he gave him some instructions on how to eat or how to not eat. And Dhruva was out in the forest and he was eating fruit. He gradually, whatever he started with, he kept reducing it. Fruits and berries and things like that, fruits and roots. And gradually got down to just eating the leaves that fell off of the trees. And then I don't remember the whole sequence right off, but then he went down to stop drinking water. And finally, in the end, this happened over a period of 6 months. And he stayed out there by himself in the forest. And in the end, he even stopped breathing. He was holding his breath. I guess in those days you could do that. You could hold your breath, and you still live, maintain your body like that. So he did that, and when he stopped everything, and he was holding it, stopped breathing, he had become so powerful by doing this. Not trying to become powerful by doing it exactly. He's just trying to find God so he could ask him some benediction. But he became so powerful by doing that, that the whole universe, the demigods couldn't even breathe. Even the demigods, they were gasping for air. They couldn't, because he was affecting the entire universe because of his power, because of his heavy austerities he's performing. So they asked. The Lord Vishnu himself came. Lord Vishnu came and appeared before Dhruva, because that's what Dhruva wanted. He came out to the forest looking for God, right? And the Lord appeared, so Dhruva was already seeing the Lord in the heart in his meditation. And then all of a sudden, the Lord in his heart disappeared from the heart. And so he was shocked. He opened his eyes, and here he is standing in front of him. He's standing in front of him. Lord Vishnu standing, and then Dhruva became very well. You know, he at this point he felt very satisfied, because he's directly seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He became completely purified by these austerities that he was performing, and he tells the Lord that I was looking for pieces of glass, something insignificant, looking for pieces of glass, and now I've found the most valuable gem. He's found Lord Vishnu. And so Lord Vishnu was asking him, okay, you wanted to see me, you wanted to get some benediction. So, but now he's saying, I don't want any benediction. I'm satisfied. But he said, but you did all this austerity to get a benediction. I must give you a benediction. So the conclusion was that he told Dhruva that right now you go back to your home. Your father is old. You need to. He's only out there for 6 months, and he's only 5 years old, so he's not even 6 years old yet. But he actually took over as the king of the land. His father, went off to the forest then. And Dhruva was quite qualified because of his purity. I'm trying to remember the point I was going to make. Anyway, Dhruva Maharaj, so he managed the kingdom for a long time. I think he said 36,000 years, which means this was Satya Yuga. So he managed it for 36,000 years, and then he also went off to in his older age, or at that time of his life, he decided to give up everything. He handed the kingdom over, and he also went up to the mountains, Badarikashram, it's called. He went up there and he continued his life. He performed just like we have our sadhana bhakti. We chant our rounds, we follow the principles, everything. Well, he had his daily spiritual practices, and he went off to the mountains to continue performing these by himself. And this went on for, I don't know how long it was, but it went on for until the end of his life. And then at one point, the Vaikuntha airplane, the Vimana, driven by Nanda and Sunanda, these are the assistants to Lord Vishnu, they came to take him. They take him back to the spiritual world. So the benediction that Lord Vishnu was actually given Dhruva, which he didn't realize until this point, because Dhruva Maharaj wanted what he actually wanted. He wouldn't ask the Lord for it after he saw it. He was just satisfied. But what the benediction that he wanted was a kingdom that was better than his father's, better than his grandfather's. His grandfather was Lord Brahma. And so better than his father's kingdom, better than his grandfather's kingdom. You can imagine Lord Brahma's kingdom. And he wanted such a kingdom like that for himself. Like, okay, you did this to me. I'm going to show you. I'm going to get something better. So he went to worship God to get that material desire. And so the Lord at that point in his life, after Dhruva ruled his kingdom for so long and continued there, then he sent his assistants in the Vimana. Vimana is a spiritual airplane that doesn't require jet engines and rocket, jet fuel and a lot of noise and those kind of things. It's just a nice thing that travels by mantra. So they came in that vehicle, and Dhruva saw them, and he was still performing his daily activities. So he didn't stop performing his daily activities. He finished his morning duties, whatever they were. So I didn't explain a lot of detail about that, but he continued that up until the last day of his life. And then he got up and he approached the airplane, and death personified actually appeared before him, but to assist him. And he assisted him by bowing down, put his head on the ground, and Dhruva stepped on his head and stepped into the airplane. Oh, but no, before he stepped into the airplane, he circumambulated the airplane several times. And while he was doing that, his body changed from a material body to a completely spiritual body, like an actual spiritual body. In the spiritual world, we are our body. So his material form changed like that to a golden form. And then, so now he had a completely spiritual body. And then he stepped on the head of death, who was bowing down to assist him and showing respect to him. And he stepped into the airplane. And then he was taken back to the spiritual world. He was taken to Dhruva Loka, which is actually a spiritual planet. So this was actually what Lord Vishnu gave him. He wanted a kingdom better than anyone else's kingdoms, so he got it. He got a planet that never gets destroyed. It's a spiritual planet. Even when the whole universe is destroyed, the Dhruva Loka remains like that. And now I remember how we started all this. But as he was going back to that planet, and he was thinking, the only way I'm going back is because my mother gave me very good instruction to worship God. So how can I go back and leave her here? So he was thinking like that, and then as soon as he thought like that, he looked back in another airplane that his mother was being brought. So she also went there. Like that. So we were talking about gurus. That's how we got into this. So one form of guru is the instructing guru. There's also called Pita Guru, Mata Guru, teaching the child, and the Pradarshika Guru, which means the first one that shows the path, was also her in the case of Dhruva Maharaj. And of course, we're familiar with the Shiksha Guru, which you can have many Shiksha Gurus. And there's Diksha Guru, which you can have only one, like that. Well, generally you have only one. Unless you get first initiation from one, and then sometimes the Guru may not be still living, and it comes, and then you get a second for someone else. But generally, it's the same one, same guru, like that. And there's other gurus, sannyas guru, one who shows the path, or initiates one into, sannyas order, those kind of things. And I know there are others too, like that. So, but Lord Chaitanya's instruction was, wherever you go, whoever you meet, you become guru, and you teach them. So that doesn't mean that everyone who joins ISKCON becomes an initiating guru. I mean, there are many actually, but compared to but the general principle is of being guru is that you instruct someone on the spiritual path. So that's what Lord Chaitanya is saying. He's saying, wherever you go, whoever you meet, you tell them about Krishna, and that way everyone becomes guru, and in that sense, and depending on your particular qualification, you may be other guru in different forms of guru. Well, I could speak more, but it's already late. So why don't we stop here? And are there any questions or comments?
People 16 when you went to the store, you know, it's like the mailman. But it's another message on adding anything and taking away. And that's something that was really something truly makes you have to do. Teaches everything about adding or taking away anything. Just to make a message of instruction based on teaching. So I thank you for that, because that sticks with me. It resonates deeply in this regard. I think about the energy. That's everything. She gave what she could get, but
Yes, and we try to. First of all, anyway.
You were mentioning what the other sampradayas.
The Upa Sampradayas, yes.
So we come from Rupa Goswami, Rupa Nidras.
Yes.
Getting the understanding of Lord Chaitanya through Rupa Goswami.
Yes, we're there. Lord Chaitanya, Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, they're in our line. We're coming in their line.
My question was, I heard Janaki, the wife of Nityananda. There was another sampradaya coming from that. What is their understanding of Chaitanya that Nityananda gave, like Janaki was after Nityananda and then it came down in that way? What was their understanding of Chaitanya?
I'm sure it was. There actually are in the sampradayas. There's actually always branches and branches and branches that come off. But I'm sure initially it was exactly right. At some point, these other ideas have come up, but the wife consort of Lord Nityananda.
After a while,
yeah.
It was like the Babus or something like that, like in the 60s, these like dancing Indian guys that were the Babus. They came from the line of Nityananda through Janaki, and they were just dancing and kind of crazy dancing. The Babus.
Oh, okay. I wasn't familiar with them specifically, but there is one of the deviant Upasampradayas includes what would be called the Nityananda. They call themselves the Nityananda Vankshas or something. They are claiming that they are descendants, like from the family of Lord Nityananda. far as I know, Lord Nityananda had one son. He didn't have any children. So if there's any descendants, actual descendants, it means from the disciples of that particular son. He did have disciples. But they claim, and I've never met such a person, but I'm hearing that there's somebody out there claiming that they're in that line. I haven't heard or read anything about their particular teachings. But according to what we read about this particular deviation, is that they claim that only those in that particular line have the right to practice or to teach devotional service. So that's, of course, that's not at all correct, but it's a deviation from Lord Chaitanya's teachings. You know, there's others too. There's Smarta Brahmanas. Smarta Brahmanas just means they're deviants. They don't follow exactly the teachings. There's another one whose name I don't remember. They see. They basically all these deviants. They basically succumb to philosophies that have to do with them enjoying with Krishna, or trying to enjoy with Krishna as though they are gopis, and enjoying Rasa Leela and those kind of things, which are all wrong, and they're all clearly not in the line of what Lord Chaitanya taught, but they claim that they are followers of Lord Chaitanya. That's this particular group. They claim that they're followers. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he was, besides being a great devotee of the Lord, he was also a great scholar. He knew very well what the standard was, and he knew that these were deviants, and he fought against it in his writings and his strong the string of preaching. the lion guru, you become very, very fiery with somebody, and Srila Prabhupada followed it the same way. Srila Prabhupada was very nice, could be very gentle. If someone came up and started preaching, some deviant philosophy, Srila Prabhupada also would become very, very fiery and fight back, because those deviations are what destroy the chances for them and for everyone else to become Krishna conscious. Any comments, questions? No one's any messages today. Yes. Yeah, no watering down. Yeah, no watering anything down. Don't change the language. Don't change the, don't think that. And I've heard these ideas out there that don't think that, okay, Kali Yuga is going on, and therefore, well, Srila Prabhupada certainly wouldn't expect us to, at this point in Kali Yuga, to still have to follow all four of the regular principles. Because Kali Yuga is getting worse. He would certainly have only expected us to follow, there's some stupid ideas like that. But these things are thrown out there.
It is time to follow regular principles, but Krishna consciousness is what our people follow all of the groups. They don't follow, we follow strictly. That was a waste of time.
Yeah, so we have to follow these principles, chanting and following the four regular principles. And as we were describing yesterday or the day before, if we don't follow, then personality of Kali does his thing, and his thing is that as soon as someone's not following, as soon as someone's irreligious, and he comes in and makes them more irreligious, more and more irreligious. Because Prabhupada says that the Kali, personality of Kali, his job or his function is he's the accelerating agent for irreligious principles. So if there's some irreligious principle, if someone deviates from basically the four regular principles, any of those, then Kali is right there and says, okay, I can live there. Maharaj Prisha gave him that as a place he could live. Anyone who's deviating in any way from these principles, you can live there. And when he lives there, then they start getting the simple activities become worse and worse and worse, like that. So the only way that we, ISKCON devotees, survive as Kali Yuga is definitely going. Take a minute. Very quick nosedive there. The only way we survive, we can go on practicing Krishna consciousness, we got to follow the principles. And we got to chant our rounds, of course, otherwise we can't have the taste and the good, clear intelligence to follow the principles either. So that's the only way. Otherwise there would be no Krishna consciousness movement. The Krishna consciousness movement would just be, it'd just be like the rest of the material world. That's what makes us different. We chant, we follow we avoid the simple activities, and we go on in our spiritual life. And others who are trying to enjoy separately from Krishna and engage in all kinds of sinful activities, then of course the degradation becomes very heavy. Yeah. Okay, so I think we have to end here today. We'll continue with Srimad-bhagavatam tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.